Welcome to the newspaper review segment of our show. We're going to be doing the online review as well, and that includes the international media as well. We're going to be sharing a few things making headlines elsewhere apart from our country. But let's start with the Daily Graphic newspaper. Okay, let me first of all run you through the papers I have. Got the Graphic, I have the Finder, the Daily Dispatch, the Daily Guide, the Ghanaian Observer, the Herald newspaper, the Ghanaian Times, and then we'll finish off with the Daily Statesman newspaper in that order. So let's start with the Daily Graphic newspaper. Here's what's on the front page today. This story was in our news a while ago. One Village, One Dam initiative. Our investigates reports of shoddy works. President assures. And the picture that you would see shortly on your screens is that of the president interacting with the paramount chief of Navrongo traditional area. Along with them, some delegation as well. Okay, there you have it on your screen now. Our investigate reports of shoddy works. President Akufo-Addo assuring there, following a discovery, if you like, that what has been done really does not look like a dam. Residents describing it as a dugout. Details in the paper today. Sagleme Housing Project, Parliament approved $200 million loan for 5,000 units. So the Daily Graphic laying hands on some documentation that actually is confirming that Parliament approved $200 million for 5,000 units, and challenging the claim by the NDC that it was a little above 1,000 units that this figure was supposed to be used for. In terms of the 200 million, I would dig in a bit in a while. But let's look at the center spread of the paper. Stakeholders in Agric ask government to check sale of fake seeds. And CJ orders closure of Ajabeng District Court 2, says it poses health environmental threats. And if you've been following the CJ's works, then you know that this is not the first time that she's doing this. This is in the center spread of the paper. It says the Chief Justice, Ms. Justice Sophia Ekufo, has ordered the closure of the Ajabeng District Court 2 near the Ghana Cocoa Board head office in Accra Central because it does not provide a sound environment for justice delivery. She also said that the building posed a health and environmental threats, and accordingly directed the Judicial Secretary to start the process which would formally lead to the closure of the courts. And the paper takes us through closure of courts. This is not the first time, as I said. In March, she ordered the closure of the Accra Central District Court complex, which contained 8 courts due to the dilapidated nature of the building. Under the Local Governance Act 2016, Metropolitan, Municipal and District Assemblies are required to provide and maintain court buildings in their localities. Justice Ekufo has made the upgrading of court structures one of her priorities and tasked the assemblies to up their game and provide more resources for the construction and maintenance of court structures. And this is certainly a very good thing that she's doing. We will remember her for that someday, I promise you. Here's what's on the back page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. Equiapem North Assembly secures land for alternative livelihood program, and Rotary Club renovates 37 military hospital children's block. And I am excited that this has been done. There's a picture on the back of the paper with Colonel Ni Aja Obodai expressing his gratitude to Miss Efwa Abebio. The children's library provided by the Rotary Club of Accra Airport. Picture by Ni Mate M. Boche. It's a very cool picture in terms of the little library there in the children's ward. Let's move on to the Finder newspaper front page of the Finder. Ghana exports 400 million Ghana cedis food items. 3.3 billion Ghana cedis generated at the farm gate in 2018. Revelation by Agric Minister. Seize opportunities ordered by Africa's continental free trade. A call by the Business Development Minister, Dr. Awal. Ex-President Kufuor denies calling for licensing of journalists. And Ghana Trade Hub mobile app goes live is also another story there. The petroleum price indicated as of 29th May 2019 is here. The front page of the paper as well. You can take a look at it if you're interested. But let's do the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Front page, Tedem's advice help defeats misguided elements in MPP before 2016 elections. Ekufuado's tribute to CK Tedem. There's also a flashback, according to the paper. We do not have capacity to dredge Odo River. Recalling. So Accra Mayor apparently saying this sometime back. Details of that, page 2. And this follows the flooding that we have experienced the past 2 days following the rains. The Daily Guide newspaper front page, Accra floods, fallen wall kills mom and child. And we didn't think we had lost any lives from the very recent floods, but apparently we have. The details in the paper today. This is the Daily Guide newspaper front page. South Korea gives priority to Ghana. 5 Karachi DCE attackers nabbed. President's commissions a Suboy 1 district 1 factory June end. These are the headlines as you would find. Also, EC meets former presidents. She's been going around media houses. Now she's meeting former presidents, the EC chairperson. But the story on page 3 about fallen wall killing mom and child, a bit of it. Story by Melvin Telio with the Daily Guide newspaper. It says a woman and her son lost their lives yesterday in the painful manner after a school wall collapsed on them at Accra New Town. The wall of the Kwame Nkrumah Basic School located within the Ayawaso Central Municipality collapsed at about 1:30 p.m. according to eyewitness accounts. Some eyewitnesses told Daily Guide at the scene that the woman was a head porter who shuttles between the Nima and Malam Atta markets. The yet-to-be-identified child died on the spot while strapped on to the back of his mother, who had also not been identified as at the time of filing this report yesterday. The bodies were reportedly conveyed to the police hospital morgue by a driver of a certain Suzuki Salon car. Okay, so details of that. And then there's an admission of negligence here. If you go down, it says Ayawaso Central Metro Director of NADMO, Sylvester Kwachi, admitted to Daily Guide that indeed NADMO was approached on 3 occasions about the poor state of the school complex and how it posed risk to people. He said on 2 occasions, he submitted reports to the Metro Director of Accra Metropolitan Assembly to take action about the deplorable state of the school. And according to him, another report was submitted to the Central Municipality, that's the Ayawaso Central Municipality, about the state of the school and the complaints of the teachers. There's a quote, I have been in office for more than a year and a half, and I became aware of the situation within my first month of taking office. We've come here for inspections on about 3 occasions, which we have done our reports. Adding that we had a chat with school authorities, the head teacher and some teachers. After that, we came back. We realized that the wall was cracked. And he goes on and on and on. So this is essentially saying that authorities actually did know about the situation in terms of the wall not being strong, the fact that there were cracks in there, and it just needed the rains as they came down 2 days ago. And then now it's ended up killing a woman and a child. And the municipal assembly actually was aware of this. A NADMO official in charge actually did put in his report and submitted. And we have to make a follow-up. Somebody must be responsible for what has happened. And it is all of us, our duty to put pressure on the authorities so they can work. Unfortunately, though, no matter what we do, we can't bring back the lives that have been lost in this. So shame on every person in authority who could have done something about this, but who refused to do something about this. Center spread is some entertainment. Hip life has changed, not dead, according to Obrafo, and he's been very much everywhere, really, because of his 20th anniversary. I mean, he's been in this industry for 20 years. That's a big deal. It's such a big deal, and he's been very influential. To those who argue that hip life music is dead, Obrafo says the genre is still much alive. Speaking at the launch of the 20th anniversary of his first album, Paimuka, on Wednesday, he said the genre has only gone through transformation. We're not dead. We're here, and some of you are still here supporting. I believe we can't say much because it is not sounding like it used to be. Now it has changed, even the content, but this is how far we have come, and we can't be too hard on ourselves. Just have to thank God. Okay, so that's Obrafo there, and it's been 20 years since he first released his first album, Paimuka. Well, these days people are doing a lot of singles, and it's not like the old times. There are people who are still brave, and they come up with albums. There are other stories in the center spread of the paper, the News One Entertainment. Okay, so there's somebody saying I will support Black Star, Black Queens again if it's Yvonne Okoro, who stated that she would continue to support the Black Queens in the best way she can to make the female team keep winning. I'll keep supporting the team, and I want to use this platform to also encourage the public to give the team the needed attention they deserve. Absolutely. President commissions a Suboy, 1 district, 1 factory, June end. That's coming on the back of complaints that at least a dam, well, people thought it was a dam, but apparently turned out to be a dugout. So President says he's going to be investigating, but this is coming on the back of that. You can look at other stories in the Daily Guide newspaper on the back page. Abrantia Sport hosts Champs League final. Asker Energy supports Peace March. Western set to awaken sport. Kofi Kenson hits town. Mom on cloud 9. Let's do the Ghanaian Observer newspaper front page. Brouhaha over 1 village, 1 dam. Ekufuado promises strong action. Ghana to attain sufficiency in rice production by 2020. Government moves to implement RTI. Speaker pushes for control of one-man churches. And on the AM show later this morning, we will look at a bit of the situation as it exists in Rwanda, as a lot of people cite Rwanda. And some even say that it looks like our parliaments want to do something like Rwanda, except that they haven't said it in those exact terms. So once we're saying Rwanda, how does it look like? Especially when the headline came some time back that they had closed down some 8,000 churches, most of them Pentecostal churches. I'll remind you of the situation as it existed there and what we intend to do here. We'll speak to a few people. But let's go back to what's on the front page of the Ghanaian Observer newspaper. Drama over Densra Palace trial. And Bosher grabs top award over fights against false prophets and prophecies. That's interesting. I'll leave it there. Let's do the Ghanaian Times newspaper, front page of the Ghanaian Times. Yellow fever outbreak alerts Ghana, 26 other African countries risk future epidemic. That's according to the World Health Organization. But the picture accompanying the story is that of the Health Minister, Kweku Agyeman Menu. A bit of that story we will do on page 16 in a bit, but let's concentrate on the other stories on the front page. Use your skills to support government to achieve Ghana Beyond Aid agenda. Dr. Awal to young entrepreneurs. Also, Ghana records increased disaster incidents in last 3 years. 5 arrested for ejecting Karachi West DCE from office. Parliament burst teeth at one-man churches. Comes with a picture of the speaker, who himself is a reverend. NCA $5 million financial loss case. Lawyers move to stop proceedings. Assessed lawyers for the 5 persons standing trial for allegedly causing $4 million financial loss to the state in a cyber security equipment deal involving the National Communications Authority have filed notices seeking the Accra High Court trying the case to halt the proceedings. Africa Free Trade Deal brings more opportunities for cooperation with China. Also another headline there. In the center spread, and I'll spend a bit of time here because there are two stories that I want to bring a bit of detail. So the center spread of the daily, no, not the Daily Guide, is the Ghanaian Times newspaper. It says the World Health Organization has named Ghana among 27 countries in Africa at high risk of having an outbreak of yellow fever in the near future. This is due to the fact that the country had become part of the world's most traveled two countries on the continent, a factor that could likely trigger the spread of the disease. This was disclosed by Dr. Sally Anohene, Disease Prevention and Control Officer with the World Health Organization, at a yellow fever symposium organized by the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research in Accra on Tuesday. A bit more details in the center spread of the paper. Okay, the recorded incidence of disasters in the country has doubled in the last 3 years. A draft report on the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals has disclosed. So from 962 in 2016, natural and man-made disasters including floods, wildfires, fuel explosions, pest infection, and collapse of buildings swelled to 1,134 in 2017 and then to 2,007 in 2018. The figure, however, excludes road accidents. Last year, the disasters affected 314,472 persons in 3,386 communities, 1,073 schools, and 28,095 houses. Also 17,957 farmlands, resulting in the death of 104 persons who will never come back again. So very disturbing statistics in the center spread of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Let's do the final one, the Daily Statesman newspaper, front page. Wrestling champion calls on Akufo-Addo and Ghana to export rice by 2020. Efri Yakoto floats plan to save 1.5 billion US dollars a year in imports. And let's do more to fight corruption. Ex-President Kufuor urges journalists at GJA anniversary lunch. We have just a little time to do myjoyonline.com. Okay, so let's do myjoyonline.com right about now. It's the AM show. This is the newspaper review segment and the online review as well. After this, we'll bring you sports, and then when we come back, we'll start our conversations with the regulating the churches. And I thought that it would be good for all of us to familiarize ourselves with what exists in Rwanda, and then we'll try and see if this is possible for Parliament to do. Here's myjoyonline.com. R. Kelly facing 11 more sex crime charges. He's been charged with 11 more sexual offenses, according to U.S. media. The Ghanaian narrative must change. We have been brought up to believe that being Ghanaian is the best thing that could happen to anybody. It's a feature. I guess it'll be interesting to read. Please do find time. Ex-President Kufuor denies calling for licensing of journalists. That story is also here on myjoyonline.com. Moving on. 13-year-old girl defiled by two men still bleeding after 3 weeks, according to the family. Car owner driver fights over. KNUST student developed vehicle passenger occupancy detection system. That story was shared here on our Tech Thursday. Some photos what Major Mahama statue means to Airport Hills. And there are some more photos. Celebrities defy rains to celebrate Obuafro's Pai Moka at 20. Everybody really love him. Accra floods, World Bank intervenes with $200 million. Okay, government to wage war against crime with 8,000 additional CCTVs. I hope that we will have the CCTVs and we will enforce the law as we have it in terms of those who break the law. Otherwise, what's the point in having CCTVs when you simply can't punish anybody for any offense that they commit in terms of road regulations, right? More stories on myjoyonline.com. I'll urge you to spend time and explore what we have on our page. I thought we could do a Trump moment. Okay, yeah, let's do the BBC. There's a Trump moment today with Mexico, and it's interesting. So Trump has announced tariffs on Mexico in latest anti-immigration measure. Let's just go up a bit of it. U.S. President Donald Trump. In a tweet, Mr. Trump said that from June 10, a 5% tariff would be imposed and would slowly rise until the illegal immigration problem is remedied. Okay, so Mexico's top diplomat for North America said the proposed tariffs would be disastrous. Mr. Trump declared a national emergency at the U.S.-Mexico border in February. He said it was necessary in order to tackle what he claims is a crisis at the U.S. southern border. And if you continue to read, it will tell you how this announcement is already impacting in, their market numbers. So a lot more, just go to the BBC if you're interested in any of the stories and read. We'll have to take a breather. We'll come back with sports. You're watching the AM show. We thank you for your company. Please continue to stay with us.